Hello, everyone. I just want to add a few words on about my profile and my experience. I Over the last 10 years, as you see, I've been living in different areas, international markets, which are very different from each other, working on interiors and furniture projects, and being in these different areas gave me the chance to learn and to understand different cultures, and to be and how to be part of them. And the lesson I learned is how is to accept the diversity and to make it part of my living and on my design approach. And this is for me is very important. And now I have few projects, clients in Italy, in India, in Vietnam, and Singapore. So beginning with, I love design, and I really, for me, this is extremely important. I cannot see myself dedicating so many hours on what I'm doing if I don't love what I'm doing. And and this is very much relevant to the topic today, because we want to talk about quality, beauty, and authenticity. And I think loving design is the energy that pushes us at this looking for these values. Uh, Talking about the topic, then, is bespoke furniture design a medium for a change? I guess this is very relevant to the period we are living in, because the COVID situation brought us to a halt to the entire society, and this is a good chance for reflecting on our consumerism. Um, the approach in general can be again one way of to it can bring us to a new phase where actually we give importance again to individual experiences, to quality, durability, and I think this is an extremely important topic in the nowadays. So if we look at we are going to talk about the points that we are going to touch today are: what is bespoke design and why bespoke? Quality over quantity. Then I want to talk about some iconic furniture that for me are very relevant to the talk today. A case of study is a project of mine that I want to share with you, and the conclusions that, of course, in that case, I think that it's good that we can have an open discussion and share our thoughts about it. So what is bespoke and why bespoke? First of all, the term bespoke has got popular in England, got popular in the 16th century, and was describing tailor-made suits and shoemaking. So before the industrialization, it was all the suits were kind of tailor-made, most of them. After the industrialization period, actually it got into a niche market, and it's been associated with the concept of quality and historical values. This because is something that we actually it's a progress of the capability of the people on the craftsmen. So why bespoke is because we want to talk about quality, we want to talk about beauty, and I think the bespoke concept adapts very well to the furniture thing, because meaning of bespoke is made to measure. And actually in the interiors, for example, we actually have a lot of times to design something that is specific for a space, but the bespoke approach is not only physical, but it's also to get deeper inside the project in the entire concept, starting from understanding the needs of the client, understanding the needs of the space, understanding the needs of whatever is the style that we are going to achieve, so I think it's really interesting talking about bespoke in this context. If we look at just a quick look at the size of the market, we are talking about $670 billion a forecast. Also, we don't know if this forecast is still available after, is still valid after this virus situation. But it sounds quite big, I guess, in my opinion. So my my question is, do we really need so many furniture in our daily life? I, in my opinion, like for instance, like, do we need really so many chairs, uh, models of chairs in our life, or probably we need one chair that is comfortable for us and is durable and reflects our style and our feelings. I think we need to kind of try to think of, maybe try to find a balance between the quality and the right quantity. So this context can be seen in two main perspectives. One is the sustainability, and accordingly, this is just an instance. For instance, it's according to EPA, we have up to 8.5 million tons of office asset only in the landfill of US. This sounds very big to me, and if you think in this way, like for example, we are thinking of reused furniture, that could be one way of solve or try to solve the problem of the sustainability. And but this what is required actually being furniture to reuse. It means that the quality of the piece of furniture has to be a high level. Otherwise, after 1 or 2 years, the piece of furniture is broken or is not working anymore. So the concept of reusing, it's actually coinciding also with the concept of quality. And this is, for me, it's what we are talking about today. But the other point is, the other perspective can be the emotional and ethical. And for me, this is what I want to talk about more today, because I see the design process as a strong creative energy that is direct to create emotions and fulfill needs. So if you think about also, for example, the fashion industry, sometimes most of the times, I guess, we buy a new clothes not only for the needs of them, but also because we feel good with them, wearing them, owning them, you know, to get out on social environments and wearing those kind of clothes because are reflecting yourself. And I guess for me, is furniture exactly the same. When you own a furniture, is you feel comfortable sitting or using it, but also it's part of your expression, it's part of who you are because you selected whatever is your house or your commercial activity. So it's really in my opinion, aesthetic and aesthetic and function are not separated. And also one more thing I want to say is furniture is a set of experiences, a set of stories, starting from the first conversation that the designer has with the client, or and then passing through the first sketches, the journey that, like, from the first talking to the sketches to the selecting of materials to the production of the first prototypes to the final item, to all the marketing and communication after that. So it's actually, and all the human interaction between all these elements, these phases. And when you buy a furniture, you actually inherit all of this. All these stories are part of the product. That's why we love so much furniture, because it's not just a piece of wood or a material. It's something more than that. Also because it reflects a particular time of the society. Whatever it's like, if we think of 20 years ago, 10 or 50 years ago, the society were completely different. So if a piece of furniture is being designed at that time, it's actually reflecting that kind of society, that kind of mentality, and it's beautiful to see how that piece can develop during the time and be sometimes, as I will show you later, can be still very contemporary at the time you use it. In this sense, I think it's very important to look at furniture also in a way that we give value to them. When we go in these big stores, and you buy something something cheap, you already know that this will be a temporary solution to your need, to your problem, because you already know that you're gonna change it in a few times. But actually, if you spend the right time on researching the right furniture, the one you need for real, the one that is reflecting more your needs, and then you look for something that has the quality, that piece will last for much longer and will be with you for all a period of time, and the value that you give to that piece is much higher. So this is everything is together, and this is valid for residential, but it's also valid for hospitality. For example, if we look at this is I've been in Hanoi, as you know, and this is a hotel, Sofitel Metropole, and this hotel is extremely important because it's first of all, it's an heritage building, but it also represent an era that was in the beginning of 1900 in Hanoi. All this French colonialism time. This is exactly represented in the nowadays in Hanoi, and it's a very important landmark in the town. And if you look at the interiors as well, you can see how it's been very well represented, the Indochine style, and that is what it makes this place very authentic and strong. Oops. So if we look at, for example, this kind of this topic that we are talking today, it's really wide and large. So it gets all in the design industries, not only in furniture. And for example, if we look at what Giorgio Armani says, it's very relevant and it's very important. So he's saying that it makes no sense. It makes no sense of my jacket or suit to live in the shop for 3 weeks before becoming obsolete, replacing by new goods that are not too different. Exactly. I think this is the problem of fashion, but this is the problem also of furniture, that we have this kind of not reusing, like interchange furniture, like we don't give value to them. Actually, for me, are very important. And so the focus today is on thinking on all this topic, and so it's also this thing is getting much wider as well, because is also getting in the kind of food that you eat, in the quality of the food that you eat, in the brief. So it's very wide. But that's why I was saying that the conclusion will be an open discussion, because it's really get your entire life. But because we are talking about furniture, I think this is extremely important. So if we look at now, for example, I want to use some example of iconic furniture to look at how certain furniture in the period of time has been last for so long, because the design process has been a very good and a quality design process. So if we look at, I guess you all know this kind of products. Barcelona chair is done in the 1927, 99 from Van der Rohe, and actually he was designing the pavilion, the German pavilion in Barcelona for the Expo in 1929. So at that time, the pavilion represented all the vision that Van der Rohe has, from the German rationalism, a new modernity, a new way of living. Was also a period of time where Germany was democratic. So this small chair actually represents all of that, all that vision, and that is the reason why, if we look at how was before and now is now in a different period of time. We were talking about almost 100 years. This is still very contemporary. And so this is what I'm saying is how important to give value, to have a real thinking on behind the design process, and that will lead to have a product that can last forever. Same concept is for the Arco lamp from Castiglioni, designed by Castiglioni in the 62. Again, here we are getting into a phase where Italy was after the war, and all this, there was a bunch of creatives and architects were actually thinking to redesign every object of the daily living. And that approach, that vision of trying to get a new modernity, it's all represented in this piece of furniture. And it's really, if we see, is still very contemporary, absolutely contemporary. So, and it's been also copied by many companies and designers, because the kind of shape is just brilliant. Here, I just want to put the attention on different kind of furniture that are still not that old, but are approaching the design aspect and the market in a different way, in a more poetic and a more artistic way, but are still products that are possible to reproduce in maybe in a shorter scale, but still reproduced in number. So if we talk about, for example, this Fragile Future, this project from Studio Drift is quite recent, is here we are, the project is to really combine nature with technology. And these are real, they are real dandelions flowers glued together with a LED light, and then combined together through a metal mesh structure, and this is the result. I think this is a very beautiful project, and also can be, of course, designed as and customized as the needs of the who gonna buy it. But it's really interesting how to see that the nature can be really represented in an object. And also another important aspect that I want to say is, you can order here in many pieces, I guess, but you need to wait for the time of production. You need to wait for the person to go and really taking the flowers and then start the process. And I think allow that period of time of production before you can have it, I think is what gives you also the value of what you're getting. And this is something that we are losing with a period of time. Another project I want to talk and to show you is this monumental from Nacho Carbonell. And this is, again, has been designed for a particular exhibition. And this is, again, is showing how the bespoke can be done not only for a space or for you know, for a space for a commercial residential, but can be done also for an exhibition. And the exhibition is talking about the result between is like a result between function but art also in an artistic way. So this is, for me, is again very interesting to see how this metal mesh are there, also how the match in the space is very poetic. This boa sofa is another project I want to show you from the Campanas brothers. This is interesting because we are talking about Edra, that is a company which produces large scale of products. So in this case, it's interesting because we can see how a very artistic product can be approached also in a larger scale. So not of course in a mass production, but can be a large production. But still, the approach is very artistic, is very unique, as we can see here. Here it's a case of study. So I want to show you a project of mine because I think it's relevant to what we are talking, is also to show a bit of my work. So here it's a project for a retail store, an important retail store in Milan, a fashion store. And my job was only to design this cabinet on a corner, on a specific corner. So the goal was for the client to show, to display some more accessories, shoes, and keep rotating some items daily. So the first approach was, of course, working on the corner, working with the environment, with the other areas, with the materials, try to match the materials, try to match the look. But the first study started with the study on the shape. This because I wanted to give this kind of directions, because I wanted that the items inside the cabinet would have been visible along the retail, the store. So you walking around, you can always have a look into the cabinet. So this is how we started the developing on the shape, and then we got into the materials. And here I just wanted to reuse materials. So first of all, as you can see, there's a lot of metal there. So the cabinet is covered by metal as well. But the inside, I just want to give attention to each space, because each space representing different items. So this kind of approach of patchwork, I wanted to reuse materials. So we just use some old Radica taken from broken old vintage furniture, and with this concept of patchwork, because the Radica has that beautiful and goldish element, with putting the light on it, it gave just boom, it just started to be alive. And then when we see with products inside, it's really something that it get attention. It's what they needed, something that brought alive the corner. So this is the reason why I wanted to show, because it's also something that it's talking about bespoke in terms of space, but also the approach. And this is still there in the store after 7-8 years. So here we get into the conclusion. So if we look at what Lee Edelkurt said, this is she said it a few months ago, and Lee Edelkurt is one of the most important trendsetter at the moment, and it's explained for me is how the situation is really serious. By the end of the pandemic, as it is a war, only our buildings will remain standing, and everything else will have changed. Disasters are known as powerful ignition tools for radical ways of transforming business practices. I think, without sounding too heavy, I think this is a really important, chance that we have to really relook at things, and probably do things in a more slower way, and again, to do things better, and maybe do less things. Give back to the values of what we are doing, with the right intensity, with the right attention, and Bespoke, in my opinion, represent all of this. It's exactly what we're looking for the quality, for the attentions, for be precise on what we're doing in a large sense. Like I guess my direction is to try to live in a more authentic way, and to try to get there, to achieve that also through my job is something. It's really my goal, and I guess is something that everyone should follow. So this one wants to be an open discussion at this point, because it's really about what we think, and for example, Mohammed, what do you think?
Well, actually, it's very detailed topic. It's very deep about, as you said, we are doing things very fast, and at the same time we need to slow it. But at the same time, there are plenty of people who wants to gain a lot of money, so they are producing more and more and more, and a lot of people who wants to continue purchasing. That's why the commercial production and the mass production is going very well. and the bespoke furniture becomes every day more expensive and more expensive, unless if you want to get something cheap quality,
Yeah.
so you can get something. So that is, it's going different ways. So, and in the same time goes in different aspects for everything related to our life, as you said.
Yes, exactly, and I think what we're losing is the value of what we're giving to things, and this kind of consumerism that we are going through is really we interchange things without even notice. Like you are owning new piece, new furniture, new phone, whatever it is, and you change it without even giving any value to it, any emotional attachment. I think when I was younger, there was much more attachment to what I had. It was not only with a young age, it's the fact that is the world is going that direction. And I think is we should slow it down and really feeling the connection with the pieces that we are surrounded, clothes and furniture, whatever. So this is for me is very important, and to really focus the right attention on what we are doing and how we design approach, we design things. So the approach, the entire approach, the entire system of design is extremely important, and you really focus on it, and you give the right time, the right steps, the right human interactions. So it's really it's not just a single element, it's entire approach.
Yeah, the same goes with architecture and interior
Yes,
design.
absolutely.
Yeah, just designing very fast building and doesn't come with a nice building unless you are very experienced doing that. So
Yeah, but
it
even
ends.
there, it's easy to make mistakes. It's very difficult to go back and fix the mistake because there are so many things involved. So yeah, but also the result is always it's difficult to have the result that you really wanted from the beginning.
Because everyone wants fast solutions.
Yeah, just everything is.
Fast solution. Let's
It's
take some questions. We have
yeah.
plenty of one.
Yes.
This question from Alice. What do you think best? Sorry. What do you think best about the design for or the specification of the available materials and technology? Then think about the design and why.
Sorry. Can you please say it again?
Okay, let me read the question again.
Yeah, please.
I will read it a different way. Do you prefer to use treated natural materials or modern materials, and why?
I prefer natural materials because I'm more authentic and because I'm more connected to nature, to what is really available out there. But this doesn't mean that modern materials or also materials that are produced with technology are wrong. I think is what is very important is how you use them and the value that you give to them is what you want to achieve. Sometimes certain, for example, if we look at marble, I prefer natural marble, but if the use has to be for a kitchen, for example, it's not right to have the natural marble. So
Yes.
it's really depends from where you.
Practical.
Yeah, otherwise
Unfortunately.
the stains get theirs, and it's like something that you really don't use it.
Yes.
But it's also in there in the engineered marble or whatever the stone you use. You can also select something that is more closer to your project, without thinking of the money, without thinking of the expenses, the cost, and all the things. Is what is important is the right materials for the right project.
Well, actually, along with that is the availability of natural materials in different aspects. Like we here in Saudi Arabia, we don't have natural wood, and we are importing the wood, or we can use wood, manufactured wood, and goes also with like how chrome being banned actually in Italy, and now ended up manufacturers in Italy are importing it from China. So it's just moved the pollution there. You got my point. So.
Yeah. Yes, because I don't know. This is get very wide as thing. For sure, we need to be conscious of what we're doing. That for sure. But the problem is that if you go for the right companies, that follow the rules of sustainability. So the certain kind of materials are available only a certain pace, and not so following the companies that are following the rules. I think you can get what is available, and not getting into a channel where you're actually getting everything because you need it, but actually we need to go for also what is it's a really available, not what is available from others, you know.
Okay. Well, there's a question about how each individual project you provide a unique design and a large study to make it really a proper bespoke design, let's say. So how do you deal with the high costs of design and development of the pieces that you provide for each project?
This is very interesting because at the end of the day, you need to balance cost and price, of course. I think is I would say that the approach has to be to do something good, something beautiful, something that has value. I think if you approach it in that way, the client will be able to understand and will be able to pay more, and to dedicate more budget for the entire product. So I think is we need a bit to push a little bit more the client as well, but also demonstrating the values of what we are doing. I understand that the world is going to a direction, or went till this virus, to a direction where we want everything faster and cheaper. But I think it's showing that it's not probably the right way. So we should go back a little bit, and also we need to put the effort on showing. So if at the beginning I had to work harder for a little amount of money, I think it's fine, because it will reflect later in our future career.
Okay, this brings a good question here. Do you think the beauty factor of furniture is a big deal compared to the function?
I think it is. Yes. I think it really depends. Sometimes can be 50-50. Sometimes the aesthetical is more important than function. Other times can be only function. But I think it's the aesthetical point of view. It's extremely important because we are full of object at the moment. So we really need to reflect ourselves in something. And you usually reflect it on the first appeal is the aesthetic point of view. The function is most of the furniture provide the function. So, but the right function, the right comfort. We need to talk about comfort, not just function, because now all the furniture we get in these big stores are following the reflecting the function. But is comfortable? Is really comfortable, and is it comfortable for me? Because we are all different, bigger, shorter, larger. So it's really what is comfortable for me, and then with this individuality need is also getting the aesthetical point of view. So yes. Aesthetic for me is extremely important nowadays.
This brings a good point, that because everyone having different understanding of beauty and function,
yeah,
a lot of manufacturers can work and produce and sell furniture with yeah, exactly. So yeah, let me see this.
Yeah, tastes are different. That is the beauty of the thing. That's why you really, we talk about bespoke, it's also getting tailored on the client. If the client are Russian, Japanese, Chinese, or Italians are completely different. So you need to design something for them and not for you only.
Yeah. Well, this goes actually how the Italian, a lot of classic furniture goes only to Russia.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's a big client for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's have some questions. How the 3D printing which is happening now and in the future, 3D printing, how it will affect the bespoke business, or let's say industry?
The 3D printing.
Yes.
I think it's just a tool. So it's just a tool that you use to achieve the piece that you wanted to achieve. I think it's the same concept of the chandelier that I showed before with dandelions. The technology is a tool to make it possible. So the 3D printing is just a tool to achieve something, a shape or an element that you will create for a specific reason. So I see this as completely part of what we're talking about. Because the use of technology is part of Bespoke. Bespoke is not only about craftsmanship, artisans. It's also how you use the technology through your ideas, with the nature. It's only all the things. It's the approach that you have, the idea that you have. Then you find the ways to achieve that, to make it possible, to make it real.
Okay, there's a good question about materials. Since we have this point,
yeah.
What material do you think will revitalize the furniture industry post-pandemic without compromising the ethics and environment sustainability?
Okay, I'm not sure I can say one material, but I think there is a lot of research in many studios and creatives on getting materials that are coming from nature. For example, like Forma Fantasma using materials that are coming from the lava of the volcano and making small pieces, because at the moment is the way you use these materials are still maybe at the beginning of the evolution. So you can do small pieces, not big pieces. But I think that the direction is to kind of reuse materials that are coming from the nature and make them as part of the normal production. So I cannot really say one material now, because I think it's too early to say that. But we really can look at new materials as well, to try to make a research on what we can achieve with that. It's really a long process, but there's a lot of research out there in the market that it's just a matter of approaching it, and we find it.
Yeah, we have this question. We noticed that you have a lot of researches about some historical furniture, and you're getting inspired by checking the old, let's say, reading and seeing the old studies on furniture. And during this pandemic, and let's say the previous pandemic, the Spanish flu 100 years ago or something, we didn't see any remaining furniture or studies or anything related to how they treated this, or how they had, let's say, the social distancing, which we are doing now, and how they were able to defend it and do something about it. We only just see that mask which doctors were wearing. This is what we saw until now, but we didn't see anything about furniture or buildings or roads, or right?
Exactly. This is a very good point. I think in terms of design we are much more evolved, but we need to also to think of how the history movement, artistic and design movements came after that, even if they were not maybe directly connected to them. So if we think of the Bauhaus was after that, it was not connected, but it was part of that period. So it's really sometimes things are not directly connected, but are there. So I think now, because we are living in a world where we are much more connected, we are as globally connected as we can see the virus spread everywhere, and also the kind of information that we can achieve, we can get. I think this is a completely different era where we actually can do much more than before, because we can get everywhere, can really connect to each other and grow things, new ideas, much quickly.
Okay, what do you think we see in some iconic furniture? Why do you think we cannot see any iconic furniture from the current period? We're still using a lot of old designs and aspects. Yeah, there are a lot of iconic furniture now, but we're still using some furniture that 100 years ago, as you said, that's really remarkable, and we cannot leave it, as the Charles chair, Ian's chair.
Yeah, so say it again, sorry, because I didn't get the point.
Okay, I was mentioning about how we are still using very old iconic furniture.
Yes.
And it's very iconic until we see it until now, and still copied everywhere.
Yes.
We don't see iconic new furniture doing the same.
You mean for the contemporary production, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think that is
even from okay, go ahead.
Also, no, I think is because of this again, in my opinion, this is my opinion, we are getting too fast. we got too fast in production, in developing new things, that we really don't, the pieces are made for selling them and not for really give a statement.
Very commercial.
Yeah, very commercial, and not really pointing on the statement that you want to say, or the idea, the vision that you want to say. So like going through the history, you can see how what I was saying before with the Barcelona Fair, for example, it's really a process. There's a lot of thoughts behind. There is a lot of vision that is part of that chair. It's not only the simple design, you know. So I think now we are just trying to get commercial. That's why I put the other poetic furniture, those kind of artistic ones, because I'm not sure if that will be, I don't think that will be the new iconic things, but it's at least it's a research to get on giving a message. So it's become more conceptual, and I think it is the kind of research that we should do. Like try to give your ideas, try to have a creative thoughts, go off the road, and try to imagine something different. Also, also try to, I think this is a very beautiful challenge that we can have, is to try to have our vision of the daily living, or what is my vision of my objects, of my house, how I can change the living. Like if we look at Italy post-war, if we look at the houses are completely different. All the layout has been changed, and this is because the vision was to change the daily living, to change the way of living. And I think now it could be a chance that we can do it again.
So only changing with after crisis.
I think, yeah, as we can see, is this kind of crisis terrible, but they have a good side of it. Of them.
Okay, let's have one question before we go with Mr. Atif. This question from Summer. I have a question regarding what value does the Asian design will add on the bespoke, and how they can how can they know and choose the best quality materials, let's say in the future.
From Asia?
No, from the Asian designs.
From the Asian
all designs, yeah.
But it's the style of the Asian style. In Asia, there are a lot of different styles, and especially the one older one. I think now Asia got in a very fast process that we're getting all westernized, and they're losing a bit of charm of the old Asia. But if you travel in Asia, you can see a lot of old things there, all cultures and rituals and architecture and nature. There's a lot to pick up there, and I think the designers, I think also a lot of artists from Asia are getting the ideas that are very interesting. So it's I'm sure there's a lot of to do, and also because the way of living is different, the culture is different. So I think authenticity is what is important. If they can really get what is their sense of their living, or their old also parents or grandparents living, I think in bringing it up today with a new vision, I think it's extremely important. Otherwise, we're getting all in the Western way, and we are getting flat, you know.
Yeah, we have Engineer Atif. Sorry, Mr. Atif.
Sorry.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you very much, Paolo, for speaking to us.
Thanks to you.
Must be very late for you if you are in Singapore.
No. At the moment, I'm not there.
Okay.
I'm back to Italy at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much for raising the question or the issue of social responsibility, because it's very rarely discussed on an interior or object design scale, especially here. I speak to you from Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
That's one point. The other point is when you mention bespoke, especially to like our current societies where there is high consumption of everything, it raises a red flag as something really expensive when it comes to initial cost, capital cost, really. But very rarely is discussed is the issue or the question of value, which transcends time and initial cost. So that is something that is always missing, you know. After COVID-19, I'm an architect, and what like popped into my mind is the first solution is to de-urbanize, basically to disperse people from big cities into smaller, compact cities, which is like the old times, like the 18th century. And maybe when people are dispersed, they will get the chance to make things by themselves, not living in a high pace, high speed environment like in our big cities, where you have to consume really and throw away. That's the way it is. In some places, you don't actually buy furniture, like in Dubai. You just go in, it's all furnished, and you leave. Nothing has really any sentimental value. It's just consumption. Another point for Muhammad and ArchiNet team, it would have been extremely interesting if somebody from the mass production world was speaking next to Paolo, like somebody from, I don't know, director of design from IKEA or something. And it would have been a showdown for all of us tonight. And my final point, all of the troubles that we have in understanding, you know, all of these issues that you discussed, I think come from education, design education. Could you please comment on that? You went to a design school or you learned design, including product or furniture or interior design. Most of these issues like social responsibility or concept of value versus cost, or they are rarely really discussed on that depth or profound level. And as you have heard, you know, the most important or the most discussed issues would be probably methodologies or tools or selections of material, like very normative issues, as opposed to really polemic or debatable issues or issues that are fundamental, you know, to our understanding of how we design, what we design with, and for whom we design. Please, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks to you. Yeah, it's all the point. I agree with all your points. And when you talk about education, I think is at least I can talk about the education here in Italy. The scope of the university or the design university are actually to create new professionals for the industry. So it means that actually they prepare yourself to design for mass production or for very large production. So in the last years, I guess many years, 20 years, 30 years, this is, I think, is the direction of the schools without thinking of the social environment. I think the social environment has been really something that has been lately discussed, and probably in the Holland, like if I think of the Academy of Eindhoven, I think that is probably one of the most important schools. And I think there was a pioneer of that, or talking about educational in design from different perspective, or research of materials, try to do things with reuse or whatever is available in nature. So if we look at that kind of direction, I think it's been the pioneer, and I'm sure that new schools and new education are getting there. But said that, I think is apart the school is also your own the individual sensibility apart education. I think it's very important that each of us gets that kind of sensibility to understand what is valuable and what is not, what makes you feel good and what is not. So I think that direction is not only from education, but it's the entire the education of design, but it's from the entire I would say society, that it should teach us or should guide us to different values.
Okay, we have a question here about again about the Bespoke thing, how much percentage does marketing of bespoke piece affect its sales?
I think nowadays marketing is guiding everything. That's probably one problem, because we are trying to sell, creating stories, creating something that is appealing, where actually the appeal should be only on the piece itself. So I think at the moment, as a tool, marketing has been used a lot, and probably we should use it as just a small tool to push the thought behind the ideas, and not just the commercial, directions, just to get the commercial things going. Yeah.
But everything is turning actually based on marketing.
Yes, it's been like that. So in the past months and years, it's been the most, I would say, the most important tool. I think now we should slow it down and really make the piece talk, the furniture talk, the project talk, whatever it is. And getting again to what we were saying today is the same thing, is the quality, the value of the design, of the ideas.
Okay, time is up. Let's have some advice in general about bespoke furniture, and what's your advice for everyone?
Yeah, as I said, I would say as a conclusion is let's love what we're doing, and put so much attention on, and be precise on our ideas. Just get a creative approach on everything, not just go for what it sells more, but for what is giving some more emotion, some more ideas, a new way of thinking and approaching whatever is the daily living, or the new hospitality thing project.
Okay.
This is
Paolo,
what I would say.
Yeah. Thank you a lot.
Thanks to you. Thanks everyone.
Thanks everyone coming tonight, and grazie.
Grazie a tutti. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.
Prego.
Bye.